Hello everyone, this is Shirley Osborne. I have been writing to you these last few days about power, personal power, and women's leadership. And this new word that just popped up for me, Powersphere. And then of course the phrase that came along with it, how to light up your personal power sphere and rule your world. I have been looking at some pictures, those wonderful pictures, those truly marvelous pictures of Earth that I've been posting along with my writings that I found on the NASA website. They use blue marble, which is a picture of Earth from 1972 or something, I think, and superimposed lights taken from satellites out in space and produced these marvelous pictures of Earth at night, which brought to mind the word power sphere, light up your power sphere. So anyway, I've been writing to you about this and I've been having quite a good time doing that. It's been inspirational, motivational, and really enlightening and clarifying for me. And so I wanted to take a moment and stop and just say thank you for reading my work, for the responses that you made. Some of you sent me private responses, some of you posted public comments, all of which have been very helpful for me. Very satisfying, and I'm grateful. So I wanted to stop and say this. And it's the middle of the night. So I did very briefly think of waiting until tomorrow and getting all dressed up and made up and positioned properly, right side showing and all that. And then I went back to something I've been working on all my life pretty much. Procrastination, working against procrastination, the urge to say, let's do it tomorrow, do it next week. And so I decided I'm going to do it tonight. It's raw, it's real, it's immediate, and I'm making you this video rather than writing because I've got so much to say and I want to say it so you get it. So I'm doing the video. It'll be 5-7 minutes, no more, just enough for you to get what I'm saying. Now, the next part, the next installment, if you will, of how to light up your personal power sphere and rule your world is ready. I finished it. I'm about to post it, and then I have this light bulb go off in my head, which stopped me and said I have to do this first before I post that. And actually what I think I will do is I will read for you some of what I've been writing. Yes, I'll read it partly so that I don't go off rambling and run out of time, but partly because it's what I wrote and I want you to understand, I want you to get what I wrote. So as I was editing Nothing Ever Just Happens, I had this moment, as I said before, this moment, this realization, this epiphany. You know how sometimes you know things intellectually or just because, and you haven't really ever given much thought to them. Then one day something happens and this light bulb goes off and you're left both blinded by the light and seeing very clearly, like for the first time. Well, this was one of those moments. I was writing about how nothing ever just happens, which I have always known and understood, and then it hits me that my life right at this moment is a perfect example of that. It didn't just happen that my life took the direction it has taken most recently. It's been happening for a while. It's the result of something else. In a flash, you know, like deja vu or like a flashback in a movie. I could see everything. I was seeing everything that has led up to this instant. I mean, I have always known these things that I'm writing about power and personal power and the importance of contributing value to the world and the importance of women's leadership in contributing to the world. But I'm writing to you at this specific time about this particular subject precisely because of these last 3, 4, 5 years of my life. Because of the things that I have done or not done over the entire course of my life, really, if we want to get technical and precise. In fact, for example, I'm writing you from Phoenix, Arizona, because of some decisions I made many years ago, more than 20 years ago, in fact. All of those decisions and actions of all those years ago and coming through the years have led me to here, where I am now, writing and teaching about the things that I have been learning, and where these things that I'm writing and teaching about are resonating with women all over the world. It's an awesome and awe-inspiring and actually also very humbling feeling. And so I want to thank you all for the affirmation of my work, the affirmation that my work is indeed adding value to the world. Because that's how it should be, isn't it? Otherwise, what's the point, right? So I want to share a bit of a personal story. 5 years ago, my father died. I had nothing to do with that. I did everything I possibly could, everything I could, to try to stop that happening. It was out of my control. Right at the same time, in the same period, I was going through some professional changes. There's this wonderful little agency that I used to work with in Phoenix. I had joined it really, really early when they just begun. And with this group of women, we had built this agency, which was all around taking care of girls and women and women's leadership and women's empowerment and so on. And we had taken this agency and built it into something of a powerhouse. So much so that it was coveted and desired by larger agencies. And eventually we got too big for ourselves. And we got bought out by a larger agency so that they could continue to work. The timing was perfect because it allowed me the space, the time to be able to spend with my father. I was able to take the time off and spend the last few months of my father's life taking care of him, which is something very, 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 very important to me, very significant and foundational in my life now. So anyway, after that, I found myself a little bit at odds because I was having to find my feet again. So I took some more time off and I wandered around literally for a little bit. I went off to China and taught girls leadership, women's empowerment in a university there. And went off to Argentina for a while, learned to dance a tango, took formal tango lessons and learned to dance a tango. Thank you, Christian. And I actually ate beef, famed Argentine beef, although I had not for years and years and years. I have been a non-meat eater. I had to. And then I got asked to work on this political campaign in the Caribbean. I went. The campaign went really, really well, really successful. And that catapulted me into much of the work that I'm doing now, which is another extension of the women's leadership, women's empowerment, women's contribution to the world that I have been working on all my life. And it has been an amazing journey. I am working now at a level that I never imagined. Now, for example, I get to travel the world teaching women, talking to women about leadership, helping women advance their leadership. In May, for example, I was part of the convening panel on political violence against women, which was part of the Global Women's Summit in the Jordanian Parliament, hosted by Women in Parliament, the OECD, and so on. In June, I got invited to London to attend the Patrons Lunch. The Queen of England turned 90 in May, I think it was. But in June, there was a lunch hosted by her for organizations that she's a patron of. I got invited to that as part of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. I'm the vice chair of that association now. Then in July, I was working with Caribbean women parliamentarians in the Bahamas. And next week, I go to Mauritius, which is an island off the south coast of Africa, to work with African women parliamentarians about leadership and women's empowerment and women's place in the world and women's contribution, women's ability to contribute to the world. So that's what I'm doing. I'm teaching women about leadership and personal power, as I've been doing for many years, but now I get to do that at a truly global level. I teach women how to harness their personal power and lead in their personal and professional lives, in their industries, professions, vocations, and communities, and in their vacations too, of course. I teach women how to take the lead on issues that are important to them. This is all happening because of things that I did or didn't do, because of decisions I made in my life before this time. And I had always known that, but it hit me with a different kind of force, a sort of energy and marvel in these last few days, all because I decided to write these pieces on how to light up your personal power sphere and rule your world. And next time I'll tell you some more about how that Powersphere word came about. And I'll tell you this because it's important, this Powersphere concept. I made up the word as I was writing. And your responses have just blown me away. I am totally amazed at how powerfully the word Powersphere is resonating with you, and how the notion of ruling your world, not other people's, not the world, as one woman also said. It's important that we not think of ruling the world, but ruling our world, and understanding how when we rule our world, when we're in control, when we are managing our personal worlds well, we are actually contributing good, adding value to the world. And that is kind of a way of managing the world, is it not? And one of the best ways. So I wanted to thank you for helping me to understand something important about my life, about my work, for helping me to move forward to the next phase of my work, for helping me actually to light up my own personal power sphere, for helping me to light up my own personal power sphere and take the next step in ruling my world. I wish for you all the accomplishments and satisfactions that you're working towards. I wish you all the very, very best. I wish you a power sphere that is all lit up and that has you truly, truly ruling your world and contributing to the rest of the world, to the others of us. Contributing to the others of us the wonder and marvel that is the gifts that you and you alone bring. Because remember, there is not now, never has been, and never ever will be in all of time and space another you, another human like you, another being like you. You won't come again like this the next time either. For those of us who believe in reincarnation, you are unique, you are special, and your gifts are important to the world. I thank you for receiving mine. I thank you for sharing yours with us and with the rest of the world. I wish you light, megawatts of light. Take good care.